to another episode of Ebony Ladies in the DR. I'm your host, Bridget. Remember, we're on YouTube right here every Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we have another Ebony Lady in the DR co-hosting with us today. So everybody, please welcome Sharon.
Hi, everyone, and thanks for having me, Bridget.
You're welcome.
If you haven't watched my episode, it aired on January the 16th, 2020, my first birthday in the DR. I look forward to having many more. Now let's get started.
Yeah. So everybody, we have a special guest right here with us today. This is Mario Cressman. Welcome, Mario.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah. Okay. So let me tell you why. Okay. So I follow him on Facebook. He's a moderator for one of the Facebook pages for Expat. But there is a video, and I'm gonna tag this video some kind of way so that you all can see it. He is in New York. There's no audio, but the eyes that he give us with the snow, that video is hilarious. Everybody is like, have y'all seen this video? Have you seen this? So that is like, now it makes me go back and just see all your other videos. You know, it's just like really crazy. But the video is so funny because I knew he was just here home in the DR, in the warm, sunny. And then he was in New York with a skull cap, a sad face, and the eyes said it all.
Yes,
I said, what the heck? Well, I need to go get him. So now, before we even get started, tell everybody if you're from New York, where you're from, and then how long have you been here?
Okay, so I'm from New York, raised in New York most of my life, and then I started coming here in 2004. I've lived in Santiago, Santo Domingo, the North Coast, the Sosua Cabarete, Puerto Plata area, and then I've been here for about a year and 4 or 5 months now in the Punta Cana, Bávaro area.
All right, so how do you like Punta Cana? How does it compare to the other places?
When it comes to beach life, a lot of people that know me, they know me from the expat groups, they know that I really love the beach life here. It has a lot of what we need, meaning supermarkets, shopping, restaurants, nightlife. There are constantly concerts, events between Juanillo, the Hard Rock, and just even in Blue Mall. They have all these different artists coming there. So that's what I like. When I lived in the North Coast, it's great, and I can see why a lot of people like the North Coast. But I'm 44, and in my mind, I think I'm 24. So I kind of like to do a lot of cool things. And, I got bored over there. I had a business, and after I closed it, it was just, I needed a little bit more action. Right. And I love Santo Domingo, and I love Santiago for the nightlife as well, but the lack of beaches. So if you're looking at a beach area, I feel like this part of the island, the eastern part, is the best part for me and for people that are looking for a really active lifestyle.
So what made you pick the Dominican Republic? The world is broad.
Right.
Why?
Well, my story is also a little bit different. What happens is I grew up in New York City, so I came from Romania in 1983. So I grew up with a lot of Puerto Ricans and Dominicans.
That's the accent. Couldn't figure it out.
I speak.
Got it.
So what ended up happening is I grew up with a lot of Puerto Ricans and Dominicans. I have 2 kids in New York and they're Puerto Rican. And I grew up with a lot of Dominicans. So I was already used to the culture here before even coming down. And somebody asked in a group, they're like, how did different people learn Spanish? And I said, well, by listening to Oro Solido, tacache, tacache. I used to go to the clubs. I used to go, I grew up in the pool halls in Washington Heights. So for me, I already, I was very familiar. All my good friends were Dominican. So I came here in 2004 after opening up my first real estate business in New York. I needed a vacation, and I said, well, let me go to DR since everybody I know is Dominican. Let me go check it out. And I had already been to Puerto Rico at that time, so I went to Puerto Plata. I got connected the next day with a friend of mine that I knew growing up in New York from Santiago. He took me to Santiago for the week, so I paid for the resort for the entire week and spent 2 nights, the first and the last there. And after that week, that was it. I was hooked. I kept coming back every couple of months when I can get off of work, and ever since then, I've just nothing but just keep coming down here. And from that first week, I knew that one way or another, I was going to live down here.
Wow. See, you made your dream happen, and you're young. And so, was it a hard transition for you?
Well, I have a business in New York, so that's the reason why I'm able to do it. I advise people always, if you're coming down here, yes, there are things that are affordable. You get a lot more for your money in housing. Basic Dominican food is very cheap. But once we start, if you like certain things, so Angus beef and certain things like that, they're going to be very pricey here. Gasoline. very
Yes,
pricey.
right.
Yes.
So you have to have a source of income. Cars are 30 to 40% more here. Electrodomésticos, which are
Right.
stove, refrigerator, quality stuff, is going to cost you anywhere from 25 to 40% more here. So people really should have some kind of. If you don't have a retirement, coming
Right.
in
You need to come
or
up
an
with a
investment
plan.
coming in, you need to have some kind of work already lined up. And it's really funny, Costa Hermosa, that's right down the block here. I remember after I spent the week here one time, and I'm watching HGTV. What is it, House Hunters Abroad?
His Caribbean
Yes,
life,
yes.
island life.
And a couple looking to buy an apartment there, and I said, you know what? I said, I keep going back and forth. I was like, I need to buy something because then I'll go
Yes,
more.
yes.
And right then and there, I went online, and within 2.5 months, I had already bought my first property here.
See?
Yeah.
And then
Yes.
people always spread these rumors, especially on the expat blogs. I always talk about that. They always spread the negative stuff. But I didn't have any problems. We bought in Cocotau, and we didn't have an issue. She
Yeah,
bought
I
here.
bought here,
She
yeah.
didn't have an issue. So tell them what the real estate market. Is it hard or difficult? You're in the business.
It's not a difficult market, and it depends on where you're looking to buy. If you're looking to buy in the North Coast, you can find a ton of properties with owner financing. That's what I did. No bank,
okay.
nothing. Somebody selling multiple units here. You put X amount down, you pay X amount for X amount of time, and then either you pay it off or it's paid off through your payments. So you get a lot of that there. Here, obviously, if you have the cash, then it's just a matter of finding
That's what you
where
want.
you want to be.
Right.
If not, there are a few banks that give mortgages to foreigners. They usually look for 3 years, tax returns, and they do a
Right.
credit check from the United States that's linked to that, and there are ways to do it.
Said that I didn't know.
Yeah,
That's it.
cash. I do. Cash though is
I
king
say
here
come with cash.
because remember
Get your money.
the mortgage rates here are
Through the
after the initial, like sometimes they'll do a 7% initial. You're looking at 12 to 14, 15% annually, not the 4% that we're getting in Europe, guys.
Right.
So be prepared for that.
That's it. Right. Okay, so now we're going to move on to something else. So if you've been watching the show, we did a topic about Ebony Ladies or women, Americans coming here and dating Dominican men. So now we have we're going to claim he's American. He hasn't been in Romania in forever.
Nah.
So we're going to say our American gentleman here in the Dominican Republic. So we're going to pick his brain about dating in the Dominican Republic. So are you a single guy?
Yes, I'm actually just wrapping up my divorce. I was married to someone from here,
Okay.
and I'm jumping back into the dating game, which I was in before I got married, before I met my ex. So I'm pretty familiar coming here all these years, and then living here now for the last like 2.5 years. I'm pretty familiar with how things work here.
Okay, so that's what they want to know. A little information on dating in the Dominican. Is it any different than dating in the U.S.? Are the women looking for the same thing? What would you say?
Absolutely different.
Okay.
Why I say that? Because we're in a developing nation. I don't want to call it third world. It's a developing
Right.
nation.
Definitely not.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
so you have a lot of people here, and it's not only a developing nation, but it's a place where people come on vacation for a very long time.
Yes.
So people
Right.
are used to that, and they're used to foreigners coming to their country. I saw that in Eastern Europe during the communist days when my parents used to work on the beach, and
Right.
everybody going that worked there knew, the foreigners are coming. The foreigners are coming.
That's right. They get excited.
Yeah.
Right.
And they know that's money coming in, so you really have to be conscious of that. The one thing, through everything that I've learned and through many, many people that I've spoken to, and a lot of people contact me privately or through Facebook, through the groups, and they're like, hey, Mario, what do you think about this? What I advise people here is the same thing pretty much almost anywhere else in the world. If you're dating someone, date someone that's as close as possible to your socioeconomic level.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
otherwise...
Yes.
You might think that you're giving and I've learned this, going through my divorce. You might think you're giving someone a hand up and that you're bringing them up, but what ends up happening, they resent you for needing you for that later on,
Right.
and you're never going to be able to fully mesh.
Yes.
I'm not saying the person has to be a
Wow.
millionaire,
Right. That's
but
awesome advice.
if the person has a job, they can maintain an
Yes.
apartment, they can maintain a car, and you know what? There are a lot of people in the country like that.
Yeah.
You're looking at the
Absolutely.
10% of the country. Let's say that's the well-to-do. Then you have another 25-30%. Only like 30% of people here that said
That's
at
middle
poverty
class.
level.
Right.
Right.
That's true.
Exactly.
That's true.
So there are people. Is it harder in certain areas to run into these people? Absolutely.
Yes.
Right.
The North, which has 845,000 arrivals a year, and then the income tends to be lower there. The opportunities tend to be lower. I saw a lot less. When you come here, I live in Punta Cana village. I'm probably the poorest person. I'm like, préstame 500 pesos, por favor.
People think we live in like that, but no. Punta
Yes.
Cana Village is like, yeah.
Yes.
You go to
That's
Punta Cana
Cape
village.
That was
Cap Cana, Punta Cana Resort. There are plenty of people, and you go to Santo Domingo. I've lived in Santo Domingo, Santiago. I see plenty of well-to-do people. People have businesses, they have good jobs, and that's what you want to do. because I see a lot of guys and women as well when they're dating. They're dating the guy that delivers the water from the colmado, the guy they met in the resort.
Yes.
I wouldn't do that in New York.
You wouldn't do that in the U.S. Why did you come here? That's what we told the women would do. We felt like I didn't ever want to say lower your standard, but it was like, why would you
change who
you are?
Yes.
You wouldn't date a man that didn't have any transportation in the U.S. So why would you come to the Dominican and date a man that has no transportation at all?
And he's not going to school. He's not doing things right.
So that's our whole thing.
And there's something really important I have to say when it comes especially into the reverse, because somebody just 2 days ago contacted me and she's asked me advice on this. And she said, I met this guy in a resort and, the first time we went out, he paid for everything. And ever since then, I've paid for everything. I said, you have to end it. The reason is, and I'll explain to you guys, because, I grew up, I have a lot of Dominican male friends. Dominican women in this country do not pay for anything when they go out. Don't let anyone tell you they do. If I go out with a girl and she brings her cousin, I know I have to pay, or otherwise I just say I can't do it.
Why do they do that, though?
I didn't know they did that.
It's a customary thing. I've learned that a long time ago.
To be safe?
No.
Do you think
No, it's just like we're gonna have a good time, and he's a man, and the man has to take care of it. It's a very cultural thing. Even in New York, I have Dominican girlfriends from here.
Bring a friend with
and they'll tell me. They'll usually ask. They won't do it. Can I bring my cousin? Can I bring it? And if you say okay, then you are agreeing. Whoever invites agrees that they're paying. That's usually how it works.
Wow.
So if you're a woman here and the guy asks you to pay for anything, just understand that you have already stepped out of the norm of this society, and you put yourself at a lower pedestal, and it's going to keep happening. Women here do not pay. It's just, I've never, not to say that I don't have girls that I'm seeing that when I go out they'll pay for dinner because they're working and things like that. But in general, if the guy's making you as a woman pay, it's just so unusual. Like the girls that pay here when I go out, they're like, no, take this, and I'm just like, okay, because I'm not used to it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So that's something. And with guys as well, we see stories a lot where you give her everything, the Jeep Grand Cherokee, the this, the that, and it's still never good enough. There've been stories to that. Yeah.
How can I get a Jeep Grand Cherokee?
Yeah.
I'm drive my Kia.
People that have worked and that have achieved a certain level, they respect when they get together with someone of similar, on a similar level, and they both work towards a goal. Like me, let's say you want to live here. Well, whoever's going to live here with me and be my partner, can this person pay half the rent or half the mortgage on this property? Can we make the car payments? If not, it's going to be so one-sided that you're always going to be taking. It's like having a giant weight.
That's true.
Attached to you.
Right.
You can give people advice. You can help them with advice, with tips on how to do things. You can mentor people, but you just can't give away things to people because there's a saying: he who has carried water values every drop. His own water values every drop.
Wow. Yeah.
And people that have not struggled to get to a certain level in life, they'll never value what's given. They'll just think, and I know if you guys have heard this here, si Dios quiere. They'll just say, oh, well, that's what's God willing, that's what it is, and if I lose it, I'll get it again later, and that's it.
But I heard that in Arabic, because I used to work in Kuwait. I heard that all the time in Arabic. Yes.
Wow.
And people have a tendency, if they get certain things that they haven't worked for, they're just like, oh, well, I've got it now, so I'll find somebody else that'll give it to me later on. So they don't value it, and then that's where the relationships end up being the way they are and the way we hear about the negative ones. Now, there are instances where I've seen people, I met her and she's an attorney and I do this and I do that. And people have normal lives just like they would anywhere else in the world.
Right.
But that's because you do the same thing. If I'm going to date someone in New York, okay, does she have a job? Is she maintaining her own apartment? Otherwise, it's going to be a struggle from the first moment with that person. Is going to drain you financially, emotionally, and in the end, the other person's going to resent you, and nothing's good is going to come out of that.
Good.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you have got this all worked out. You mastered dating in Dominican, I'm going to say. Pretty much good. Now, just tell us, what would you advise? What would be your best advice for an expat coming to the Dominican Republic?
Get to know the country itself, and if you haven't been to a place, fallen in love with it, but seeing the other places as well, don't buy. Rent first, rent furnished, because furniture here is really expensive.
It is. I know that.
So that's my advice to someone that would do that. Because even
furniture.
Me, I bought on the North Coast, and though I love my apartment, I love my building, had I known what Punta Cana was at that time, because I came here many, many years ago before a lot of this was built. Right. And it was just hotels at that point and very limited. but things changed, and I didn't know that.
Yes.
So if I had a chance to do it all over again, I would have just bought here from the beginning.
And then
Yeah.
cheaper.
Exactly.
Yes.
So that's what it is. Just get to know the entire country, because there's a lot to it, and each one of us have something different that we love about
Yes,
here.
yes.
Some people
We
love
do.
Punta Cana. Some people love Bávaro. Some people love, Santo Domingo. I know people that live, expats that live in Santo Domingo, and they're like,
Yeah.
I love it here. I don't mind going to
They
the beach
love
to La
it.
Romana or Valladolid,
Right.
but I'm gonna just live in the city.
Yes, yes, yes.
Because there's always something, there's always a trade-off. Like, I love living in Punta Cana, but there are times when I'm just like, I'm going to Santo Domingo for the weekend because I miss that city.
You miss the hustle and bustle.
And the nightlife.
Right.
And
I
the,
was going to
Yeah,
say that
okay.
other things to do, because I like to dance myself, and it's hard to find a good place just to dance here.
Yeah.
So I understand.
Unless
what
you
you're saying.
salsa, merengue,
Yeah, yeah.
that's it.
and even then,
Right.
if you go, for example, because I've grown up with so many Dominicans, it's not just like Zona Colonial for me. I go to Naco, Piantini, I go to the, Bella Vista. They have
Yes,
these beautiful
you know,
clubs
places.
and bars, and it's like
Yeah.
really just high-end people, like things that you a lot of times don't see in some of the tourist areas. Because a lot of the people from Santo Domingo that do well, when they come here, if they don't own property in Punta Cana Village or Cap Cana or the resort, you won't see them because they're inside of the resorts.
Yes.
They're enjoying
Yes.
the all-inclusive.
Yes.
It's like
Yes.
going to the
That's
Hamptons, like that, you know?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
understand that.
Really good,
Yeah.
good. So now tell us a little bit about your business here.
I'm gonna leave you my card before I go. If you want to just put
And
it
I'll
up there,
put it
that's
up
the best
there.
way.
I will.
The Crest Group DR, thank you. So I've been in real estate for 20 years, and I have a firm in New York. When I ended up, meeting my ex-wife and moving down here, I started working remotely from here, while my partner handles the business up there. After I got divorced, I said, well, you know what? I'm staying here. I'm not going back. Please don't take me back to New York. I don't want to go. I go a couple of days every month, a month and a half. But I once you live here,
There, it's hard going back.
I would go through depression, literally going back there.
To get back.
Yeah.
It's hard
Yes.
going back.
So I decided to open up my real estate company here, and we've been open since mid-October. We launched, and I've got a bunch of great expats and Dominicans that work with us here, and just love it. Selling. I mean, what's better than selling property and renting property in Punta Cana,
Right.
Bávaro?
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
so much going
Yes.
on here.
Yes.
The arrivals are going even higher. I mean, this is the fastest growing vacation place. I think I know in the Caribbean, might even be anywhere else because so many millions of people are coming here, and I love helping expats because of the knowledge that I have here, everything from health insurance to what you need to do for your
Everything.
car insurance, where to get your car, whether you have a cellular or not, how all these things work. I love to be able to help people here in the entire package, not just like, hey, here's a property, do you want it? Cool,
Right.
buy it, have a nice day.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to see you. I'm going to see you at Jumbo.
Right.
I'm going to see you at the
I'm gonna see
beach
you
at
National.
Ono's.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna see you everywhere.
Yeah.
Right. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I think it's beautiful. I love it here. But let me ask you. So with real estate here, it seems like there are so many real estate companies. And before I
Yes.
met you, and if I would have been like, so why do people come here and do real estate when there's so many already here? But it's about the personality.
Yes.
Yeah, you absolutely have a personality.
Thank you.
You're successful here.
Thank
I
you.
see why you are successful here, because your personality is amazing.
Thank you.
And that's why I
Very
enjoyed
funny.
the video so much. It was
Yes.
just that video. in
And
the
it's
snow.
also, we're growing here with the real estate business. What's happening is also you have a lot of Santo Domingo companies. So now what you have is you had a lot of mom and pops and maybe one big firm here in the past. What's happened in the last year and change is when I first got to Punta Cana, not this October, the past one, it wasn't like that. All these companies were starting out. You have really professional companies coming in out of Santo Domingo, tech
Right.
heavy.
Yes.
I spent 3 days in Blue Mall at a real estate conference. Wow. I mean, they're talking about laws of attraction. They're talking about all these different things. So they're on
So
that
other
level.
People are gonna have to step up their game.
That's
if
what's
they
going to
wanna
happen.
stay.
You
Right.
have to
They
have
want it.
cutting edge website, cutting edge graphics, social media, paid presence. Professionalism here. Because in Santo Domingo, the big companies are very professional,
Yes.
and they're bringing that to here. So those of us that are opening now here, or some of the smaller mom and pops that were here before, that were surviving on referrals and just being here, right? They have to really step it up because it's a small area. There's a lot of competition, which I'm used to because in New York you have like 30,000 licensed
Right.
agents or something
yes.
like that.
Yes, yes, yes.
But it's what you bring to the table, and it's
it
again,
is.
it's helping people. It's not about opening a door, showing a property. Anyone can do that
Yes.
without even
Be full
speaking.
serious.
But giving people
Right.
advice and teaching people about the area. If you're looking to live in White Sands, or if you live in Cocotal or Punta Cana Village, I can tell you the difference between all these, and then we can talk about and help you decide what's where your best Punta Cana life will be, because it's
Yes.
different for all of us.
It's different for everybody.
so.
So everybody that's been sending me all the messages about real estate, because we did a real estate episode and it was so long and we still didn't cover everything,
Yeah.
because people always have so many more questions. So I'm going to put your card up
Thank
so
you.
that you all can reach out to him with more questions. I'm sure he'll be happy to answer. And we have a bunch of people flying in like 2 months, and I've already given. I try to fast out the referrals because I think everybody does a little bit of real estate. So I'm trying to find who works best with the people that I know.
Yes.
You know,
Right.
because
Yes.
not everybody does. Because I'm like, you know, were they on time? They weren't. Can't use them again. And I'm sorry. That's how I roll. Everybody know. That's how I move on. But we want to thank you. So
My
much
pleasure. Thank you for
your
having me on. I
time.
really appreciate it.
And we're gonna do one of your recommendations tomorrow. We're gonna do the Four Seasons brunch.
Yes, the breakfast
world.
buffet. Yeah.
So it's like
yeah.
from 12 to 3. So if y'all want to meet us out there, we're gonna go tomorrow and celebrate her birthday. have
Awesome.
some lunch.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. So we're gonna go have some lunch. So keep adding all the good stuff because I follow you on Facebook.
Thank you.
So I'll know where to go, where to eat. But we're not gonna keep you any longer.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
I really
for
appreciate
being
it.
Here. And everybody, remember, right here, YouTube at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Have a good day.
Bye.
Thank you.
My pleasure.